The iPad 6th generation is definitely the bang for your buck, especially if you're a student in 2021. And I'm gonna explain why. So firstly, I'm gonna talk a little bit about the iPad and how this iPad has held up over the years. And I'm gonna explain also why this is the best option if you're looking for an entry-level iPad to just introduce yourself to the iPad OS ecosystem that Apple has. So this iPad is running the A10 Fusion chip inside. It has a 9.7-inch screen, and it definitely still runs iPad OS 14, which I find absolutely incredible. The iPad still runs the OS very smoothly, and it doesn't lag as long as you open one app at a time, and that's the key. One tab at a time. If you were to open one app and another app on top of it and sort of multitask at the same time, that's where the 2GB of RAM in this iPad really starts to show its age. Apple has been known for very good RAM management, but 2GB of RAM is just really not ideal in this day and age. I do think it's already very impressive that this iPad could still handle iPad OS 14 and still run it so smoothly. But don't expect to have 5 apps running at once and still have a pleasant experience. Next up, we have battery life. The battery on this actually was really good when I first got it. I could go out to Starbucks and sort of like do my work for the entire day and still end the day with about 20 to 30%. But right now, I only end the day with, let's say, around 5 to 10%, which isn't that bad. Now, I just want to point out that we're talking about a second-hand market here. So I recommend you check with the seller how much the battery health is and whether or not it depreciated really badly before you start buying a used iPad. Now, another great thing about this is Apple Pencil support. This is right now the cheapest iPad you could find with Apple Pencil support. It is not the iPad mini 5, it is not the iPad 8, 7 generation, and not the iPad Air 3. This is the cheapest iPad you could find, and that's why I think it's one of the best bang for your buck when it comes to, let's say, simple graphic designing or note-taking for students. A lot of iPads still support this pencil, so if you want to upgrade down the line, you could upgrade away from your iPad 6th generation, and you still could use the pencil instead of upgrading to the 2nd generation one. Now, the Apple Pencil is really one of the most fantastic devices that I've ever used, and I love this device so much. I'm not a fan of the way it charges. Not at all. Apple, what is this? What in the world is this? I'm not holding a lollipop. Now let me get into why I think this iPad is the iPad for students. Because first of all, you can get this iPad off of eBay for around $200 to $300, and I have seen listings selling these for around $160 US, and this is absolutely, to me, a steal. Now, a lot of people can argue, why not just get the iPad 7th generation because it has the smart keyboard connector and is definitely a more recent iPad compared to the 6th generation. But here's the thing, if you're not into the whole smart keyboard thing and you don't need an external keyboard that clicks onto your iPad, and you don't mind sort of like a keyboard like this to connect via Bluetooth, then I don't actually see any reason why you should get the iPad 7th generation, because the processor inside is the A10 chip, which is the same exact chip inside this iPad. So the only reason you're getting the iPad 7th generation is for the slightly larger screen, which I don't find much of a difference because this is 9.7 inch and is very close to 10.2 inch on the iPad 7th. But that's the only reason why you would want to upgrade to the iPad 7th generation, which at that point, I'd rather you just pay a little bit more money to get the iPad 8th generation, which is the latest and greatest iPad. I feel like getting the iPad 6th generation cuts cost without cutting corners too much, because it gets everything that I need to do done very easily. I use this iPad for taking notes, for writing, for drawing, for even sketching storyboards for videos such as this one. So a lot of the things on the iPad just gets my basic computing needs done. Now let's talk storage. I have the 32GB one, and please do not get the 32GB one unless you're not gonna store anything over here and you just want sort of like a device to work off of, and you would transfer it out and delete the files here afterwards. But if you're a student and you need your work files on this iPad, please do not get a 32GB. I don't know why Apple is so stingy and selfish with their storage options, But 32 gigabytes in this day and age is definitely a no-no. Please go for at least like 64 gigabytes or 128 gigabytes. And if you're a freshman, that would most likely last you your entire school life. If you were to get the iPad 6th generation and the Apple Pencil alongside the Logitech keyboard as well as mouse, which I will do a review on very soon, I think you have a killer workflow setup for your school needs, and it does all the basic tasks well. So yes, I hope this video helps you make an informed decision whether or not you should buy the iPad 6th generation, because ultimately it's up to you and what works for you. If you want to feel modern with the Logitech keyboards nowadays coming out with the trackpad support and the amazing keys, then yes, go ahead to get the 7th generation. Just that you have to pay a bit more for the keyboard and the accessories. Whatever that I connect right now is using Bluetooth. So far everything has been really fluid on this iPad, and I'm not complaining because everything works fine. With that being said, thank you so much for staying all the way to the end of this video. My name is DDT, also known as Declan Drosten Tan, and I make tech videos on YouTube. I am very new to this space, so if you have any criticism, comments, please leave it down in the comment sections down below. And also like this video because the YouTube algorithm likes it, and subscribe because I like it. Thank you so much for watching, and this is DDT signing off.